I'm 27, female, and I got married earlier this year. I do not usually post on here, but I just need to get this off my chest. Maybe it was petty, maybe it was deserved. I'm not sure anymore. My family has always been a little too focused on image and social stuff. My sister Lauren, 30, female, especially. She's one of those people who needs to be the center of attention wherever she goes. She works in some low-level marketing job and always goes on about branding, presentation, networking, stuff like that. My parents, Susan, 58 female, and Richard, 61 male, have always enabled her behavior because she's the creative one. I'm more quiet, practical, and not really into showy stuff. I work in IT. I like simple things, and I've never cared about big weddings or throwing money around. When I got engaged to my now husband Mark, 29 male, we were excited to just have a chill wedding. Maybe a small ceremony at a local botanical garden or even a backyard celebration. Just family and close friends, nothing over the top. But of course, my parents were like, no daughter of theirs would have a cheap wedding, and it had to be respectable since we are the first in our extended family to get married. They offered to pay for the wedding, but with one condition. They wanted Lauren to plan the entire thing. Their reason was she's got an eye for design and makes everything look expensive. I honestly did not care enough to fight about it. Mark and I had just bought a condo. We were still figuring out our finances. And if my parents wanted to fund the wedding and Lauren wanted to do all the work, fine. I told myself I'd focus on the marriage, not the wedding. I should have known something was off from the beginning. The budget they gave Lauren was $30,000. That was way more than I ever would have spent myself. But I figured at least we could use it to feed people well. Have nice photos, make it a comfortable event. I assumed Lauren would be responsible with it, and she kept telling me not to worry, that I should just trust the process. The first red flag was when she started sending me these mood boards and Pinterest links that looked nothing like anything I would ever choose. Everything was super extravagant. Huge flower arrangements, chandeliers, fancy table settings, even a custom monogram. She told me it was all part of the elevated wedding experience she was curating for me. I told her I did not need all that, just something simple and warm, but she brushed it off and said I needed to think about the bigger picture and how much exposure I'd get if the wedding went viral. At some point, she even mentioned inviting some of her influencer friends because it would help with networking. I asked her why we were inviting people I did not even know, and she said it would bring attention to the event and help her career. That was the second red flag. I went to my parents about it, but they said Lauren was just trying to make the wedding special, and I needed to stop being so controlling. They reminded me they were the ones paying for it, and I had agreed to let Lauren handle everything. I started to feel a bit weird about the whole thing, so I asked Lauren for a breakdown of the spending so far. She got weirdly defensive, but finally sent me a list, and that's when I saw it. Of the $30,000 budget, over $15,000 was labeled as creative services fee. I asked her what that meant, and she said it was compensation for all the hours she'd been putting in. She claimed if I had hired an actual wedding planner, it would have cost even more, and she was actually doing me a favor. I was completely stunned. I had no idea she planned to pay herself half the budget. She hadn't even told me. I thought she was doing it as a favor or like a family contribution. I did not even ask her to plan the wedding in the first place. When I brought this up to my parents, they said it was fair for Lauren to be compensated for her work. I asked them how that was okay when she was paying herself with the money they claimed was for my wedding. They just repeated that I had agreed to let her plan everything and that she was doing a great job. I felt completely betrayed. I asked them if they'd be okay with me taking half of someone else's wedding budget just because I was involved. They said it was not the same and that Lauren was family. It was so frustrating. At that point, I realized this wedding was not even about me anymore. It was about Lauren showing off. She was constantly posting stories on Instagram of her planning meetings, venue scouting, and even design consultations. She was tagging people, trying to get attention like it was her event. She even took photos at a wedding expo and posted them with captions like, "So proud to bring my sister's vision to life," while I was not even invited to the event. So I stopped arguing. I told her she could go ahead and plan everything however she wanted. I gave fake approval on things, told her the vision was great, played along. Meanwhile, Mark and I quietly started planning our real wedding in the background. We contacted a small venue about 45 minutes away. This beautiful vineyard that had a cozy indoor hall and outdoor space. It was reasonably priced and still had our desired date available. We invited the people we truly cared about, close friends, family members we actually talked to, Mark's side of the family, a few co-workers. We kept it low-key and paid for everything ourselves. It cost us under $8,000 total, including food, dress, flowers, everything. We told everyone invited to keep things private and explain the situation without too much drama. As the original date got closer, Lauren started amping up the wedding content even more. She had hired a photographer just to do pre-wedding vibe shots. She was teasing sneak peeks of the table settings and even posted a photo of a gift box she said was part of the wedding guest experience. It was ridiculous. My parents were so proud, constantly telling their friends how talented Lauren was and how beautiful everything would be. They kept saying this wedding was going to be unforgettable and that I was lucky to have such a stylish sister. The day of the original wedding came and Lauren had sent out invitations, arranged transport for some guests, and set up everything at the venue she chose. I did not show up. Mark and I were already married by that point, at our vineyard wedding 2 days earlier. The day she thought was my wedding day, she, my parents, and a few of her influencer friends showed up at this big fancy venue only to find it empty. No bride, no groom, no ceremony, just decorations, flowers, music, and a very confused staff. From what I heard later, Lauren freaked out and tried to call me like 20 times. My parents were humiliated. Some guests had arrived by then and she was scrambling to explain what happened. Apparently, she said there had been a miscommunication, that I had gotten the times wrong, and then she started blaming the venue. I did not answer any calls or texts. I just turned my phone off that day and enjoyed a quiet brunch with Mark. Later that evening, I texted my parents and told them I had chosen to celebrate my wedding my own way and that Lauren could have the venue she planned all to herself. I added that I hoped she enjoyed the exposure and attention she wanted so badly. My parents did not respond. Lauren sent a long message saying I was ungrateful, selfish, and had embarrassed her in front of important people. She said she had done all that work for me and that I had betrayed her trust. I did not reply. It's been months now, and things are still tense. My parents barely talk to me. They think I humiliated them and wasted their money. I guess technically I did. Lauren went on some rant online about how family will use you and then abandon you, but she never mentioned my name. Some of her friends stopped following her after that. I do not know if she ever got paid for her services or if my parents covered the rest of the costs. Mark and I are doing fine. We had the wedding we actually wanted with the people we love, and that's enough for us. But sometimes I think about it and wonder if I went too far. Was it petty? Was it deserved? Should I have just sucked it up and let her have her big moment if it meant keeping the peace? I do not know. I did not care about the wedding stuff, but I do care about how fake everything felt. I still do not regret doing it, but I guess I do feel kind of bad about how it blew up. So yeah, AITA, update 1. Hi, so it's been a while and I have an update. I did not expect my last post to blow up like that, but I guess a lot of people have been through similar family drama or just enjoying watching it unfold from a safe distance. Things have been weird. Tense doesn't even begin to describe it. After the fake-out wedding day, I figured things would eventually die down, like maybe after a few angry texts and some passive-aggressive Instagram posts, everyone would just cool off and move on. That's not what happened. It got messier. Not louder, not more dramatic, but cold. I'm talking dead silence from my parents for weeks. Not a single call, not even a message to ask if I was alive or if Mark and I were doing okay. Just full-on emotional timeout, like I was a teenager who snuck out past curfew. Lauren, on the other hand, did not go silent. She got louder in the most passive way possible. She started posting these dramatic, cryptic Instagram captions about betrayal and how real artists are never appreciated in their own homes. She posted photos of the empty wedding venue, tables set, flowers arranged, everything ready like it was some tragic short film. No mention of my name, obviously, but anyone who knew the situation knew exactly who she was aiming at. One of the posts was literally just her in a fancy dress, sitting alone at one of the decorated tables, staring off into the distance like she was shooting a perfume ad called Abandonment. Apparently, she told everyone a different version of what happened. To some people, she said the venue messed up the dates and we panicked and moved the wedding last minute. To others, she implied that I had some kind of mental breakdown and disappeared. She even told a mutual cousin that I eloped without warning anyone and left her hanging. Not even kidding. She made herself look like this poor, hard-working sister who poured her heart and soul into something beautiful and then got slapped in the face. She's been calling herself a creative director now. Not just casually either. She changed her LinkedIn title and started a whole page where she's offering event planning services. Guess what her banner image is? Yep, my fake wedding venue. She watermarked it with her name and added some cringy quote about storytelling through design. She's literally branding my non-existent wedding as part of her portfolio now. My parents are clearly on her side. I tried reaching out to my mom one day to talk, not even to argue, and she answered the phone like I was a telemarketer. Cold, clipped, like I was wasting her time. I tried bringing up how I felt, how the whole thing made me feel used and ignored, but she just said I was being selfish and mean-spirited. She told me Lauren was only trying to help me and that I humiliated her in front of everyone who mattered. That last part stuck with me. Everyone who mattered. Not me, not Mark, just the people who were watching. Apparently, my parents had already told a bunch of family friends that Lauren planned the wedding and hyped it up so much that they felt like fools showing up to nothing. They were embarrassed, and instead of admitting that they backed the wrong horse, they decided it was easier to blame me. I was the one who made them look bad. That's all they cared about. But here's where it gets spicier. Mark and I went to a family dinner a few weeks after the dust settled, against my better judgment. But it was hosted by my aunt, and she insisted we come. Lauren was there, full glam, like she was attending a red carpet event. She barely looked at me, but she made a huge deal of showing everyone a scrapbook she made from the wedding she planned. She passed it around like it was a photo album from a real event. All professional shots of centerpieces, lighting setups, menu cards. There was even a fake seating chart. My name was listed as Ashley Daniels with Mark's name next to mine like we had actually been part of it. People were confused but polite. A few looked at me like they were trying to piece things together. My uncle straight up asked me where I got married, and I told him the truth. Small vineyard, close friends, no drama. He nodded like he approved, but I could see Lauren's eye twitch from across the table. After that, Lauren started telling people I was trying to sabotage her career. She told one of her co-workers that I purposely wasted her time and effort to hurt her business. I do not know how she thinks any of that makes sense since she paid herself with my wedding budget. But logic isn't really her thing when she's angry. She even said I had always been jealous of her creativity. The wildest part? Some people actually believed her. She's charismatic, I'll give her that. Knows how to spin a narrative. Meanwhile, Mark and I have just been living our lives. We are happy. The wedding we had was ours. No theatrics, just love and laughs and good food. But the family dynamic is fractured, and I'm pretty sure my parents are waiting for me to apologize. For what? I'm not even sure. For not letting Lauren turn my wedding into her influencer launch party? For not playing the grateful little sister role while she cashed in on my name? I've stopped trying to fix it. I used to think maybe we'd talk it out, maybe they'd see my side, but they have made it clear. As long as Lauren keeps selling the image they want, they'll keep standing behind her. I am the one who ruined the fantasy. I do not regret what I did. I do not regret the empty venue or the silence or the fallout, but I do wonder what it says about my family that it took something like this to show me how conditional their love really is. They were willing to spend thousands of dollars just to control my day and keep up appearances. Lauren was willing to take half the budget and make it about her. And now, even after all that, they are mad I did not play along. Update 2. Hey, I was not planning to post again, but a few more things happened, and honestly, it's just too much to keep in my head anymore. I need to let it out somewhere. I did not think things could get worse after the last round of silence and fake narratives, but somehow my family keeps surprising me. Lauren recently threw a party, not a birthday or holiday thing, just a random event she labeled as a creative appreciation night. I only found out because a mutual friend tagged her in some photos. It was basically a networking mixer, but with her name plastered everywhere, like she was hosting a TED Talk. She had all the wedding decor from my fake ceremony set up again, but in her apartment building's event hall. Same floral arrangement, same table runners, even the place cards with random names. She had people walking around dressed like wedding guests, sipping wine and taking photos of her design work. There was even a projector playing a slideshow of the empty venue from my supposed big day. One of the slides literally had the words, "Vision executed, bride vanished, legacy remained." I'm not even joking. She turned my wedding into an art installation about loss and resilience. And people were eating it up. The comment section on her post was full of strangers praising her dedication and saying how powerful it was to turn personal pain into visual storytelling. I just sat there staring at the screen like, what pain? What legacy? What does that even mean? I did not say anything publicly. I'm not trying to go to war online, but I sent the post to my mom and just asked, is this really okay with you? She left me on read. Not even a word, not even a thumbs up or a heart or anything, just silence. A week later, my dad texted asking if we were planning to visit for Thanksgiving. No mention of the post, no acknowledgement of the weird show Lauren put on. Just a casual question like everything's been fine all year. We did not go. I could not. Mark did not even try to convince me. He just booked us a quiet Airbnb by the lake and we spent the weekend cooking, hiking, and playing cards. We did not even tell them we were not coming. I figured if they were going to pretend nothing happened, I could play along and pretend we were never invited. A few days later, Thanksgiving, Lauren messaged me, not to check in, not to make peace, just a short, stiff message saying a couple she knew wanted her to design their wedding and they had questions about the vendors she used for mine. She asked me to verify the experience so she could give them a testimonial from the bride's perspective. She even wrote a sample paragraph I could tweak if I wanted. It was full of nonsense like how involved she kept me in every detail and how she made sure my vision was honored from start to finish. I did not respond. I thought about it for hours though. The entitlement was just unbelievable. She really thought I'd lie for her after everything? After she hijacked my wedding and then paraded around the ruins like it was some tragic fairy tale she barely survived? Mark told me to block her. I did not. I didn't know why. Part of me wants to see what she does next. It's like watching a slow train wreck where the driver insists they're doing great. Since then, I've started hearing from extended family who hadn't said much before. Some of them are starting to piece things together, especially the ones who know me well. One of my cousins called and straight up asked what happened, and when I told her the real version, she just said she was not even surprised. Apparently, Lauren has been doing this kind of thing forever, taking over school projects, inserting herself into other people's birthdays, even rewriting family stories to make herself the lead character. I guess this was just the first time someone called her bluff and did not fold under the pressure. I've also noticed that some of her followers are starting to drop off. Her posts do not get as much engagement anymore. The comments are a little more mixed. A couple of people even asked what happened to the actual wedding and why the bride never appears in any of the photos. No one responded to those questions, obviously, but I saw them and I smiled. As for my parents, it's like they're trying to reset the clock. My mom texted last week asking if I could come over and help her sort through some holiday decorations. No mention of the past year, no apology, no effort to bridge the distance. Just a casual favor, like I still lived around the corner and we still spoke every Sunday. I told her I was busy. I was not. I just didn't want to be in a room with people who act like my boundaries is something to work around. I still haven't told her we are moving. Mark and I found a place a few states away. He got a better job offer and we figured it was the right time. Clean slate, fresh city, no expectations. We'll be gone by early spring. I'm not sure when I'll tell them or if I even will. Maybe I'll just wait until we're settled and send a postcard with no return address. I keep thinking about how my wedding day turned into this strange performance art piece for someone else's ambition, and how the people who are supposed to protect me just stood there and clapped. Makes me feel both sad and free. Like I finally accepted what kind of people they are and what kind of life I want to build without them. But some days I still wonder. I think about the empty venue, those untouched chairs, the food that never got eaten, the guests who showed up confused. I think about the silence that followed, the version of me they all pretend existed. I did not want a big dramatic day, but somehow I ended up giving them the most memorable one they ever had. All for the wrong reasons. Update 3. Hey, so things took a turn again and I figured I might as well post another update. I thought I had seen the peak of my family's theatrics, but apparently we were not done yet. They have just been getting bolder. Like they think if they keep pushing the narrative long enough, I'll eventually fold and rewrite history with them. But instead of trying to fix things, they have gone into full fake it till you make it mode. And it's honestly kind of disturbing at this point. A couple of weeks ago, Lauren launched something called The Wedding That Was Not. Yeah, I know. That's what she named it. She's calling it a design campaign / experience meant to explore event planning through grief, resilience, and rebirth. She made a whole mini website for it and everything. It's all black and gold, dramatic serif fonts, moody images of the event venue, and dramatic captions like, "She vanished, but the vision remained." She posted a 5-minute cinematic trailer of the venue with soft piano in the background, like someone had died. She's selling it as her breakthrough moment and using it as a way to build her brand as a designer who turns tragedy into transformation. Except again, no tragedy ever happened. She just got called out for being selfish and stealing a wedding budget. But she keeps pushing this fake emotional narrative like she was left at the altar, abandoned with her clipboard and seating chart in hand, forced to carry on alone in the name of creativity. The wildest part? Some people are actually eating it up. She had this launch party, another fake, dressed up event, where she wore a floor-length black gown and gave a speech about how pain fuels purpose. There was a whole crowd of people clapping for her while she showed off photos of my venue, my fake wedding, and called it her most intimate project yet. She referred to herself in the third person at one point. She said, "Lauren Daniels has always believed in beauty through adversity." I honestly thought someone was going to hand her an Oscar by the end of it. Meanwhile, my parents were in the front row clapping like trained seals. They showed up dressed like they were attending a fashion gala, not their daughter's humiliation rebranded as a design concept. My mom posted a picture of Lauren mid-speech and captioned it, "So proud of our girl for turning sorrow into strength." My dad reshared it with the quote, "We raised a visionary." I sat on my couch, scrolling through their posts like I was watching strangers. A few days later, one of my dad's co-workers ran into Mark and mentioned how sorry he was about everything that happened. Said he admired how brave I was for just disappearing and letting Lauren carry the weight. Mark was confused. Turns out Lauren and my parents have been quietly spreading this new version of the story that I ghosted everyone because I could not handle the pressure of getting married and that Lauren had to make the best of a bad situation. That's the lie now. I did not plan a second wedding. I did not stand up for myself. I ran away, emotionally unstable, unable to commit, just gone. I was so angry I started shaking. They were not just lying anymore. They were rewriting the whole damn story in their favor, turning me into some fragile runaway bride, while Lauren got to be the martyr left to pick up the pieces. And they were doing it with full confidence, like they were proud of it, like it made them look better somehow. I realized then that it was never about the truth. It was about optics, always. I called my mom for the first time in months. I was not calm. I asked her why she was letting people believe something that never happened. She did not deny it. She just said perception is everything and that the family had a better chance of healing if I stopped digging up the past. She told me I was hurting everyone by staying bitter and that if I really wanted peace, I'd let Lauren have her narrative and move on. She said Lauren had suffered enough and that I needed to stop punishing her. That's when I finally snapped. I told her Lauren did not suffer. She built a brand on a lie and used my name, my photos, my wedding to do it. I told her I never asked for anything from them. Not the money, not the fake support, not the validation, and that the only reason any of this happened was because I trusted people who clearly never respected me. She got quiet. Then she said she was sorry I felt that way. And that's it. The corporate apology of family. I hung up and blocked her, blocked Lauren too. Took down the few photos I had left on my own social media. I even changed my last name, legally. Not because I'm married, but because I want nothing to do with theirs anymore. I've started using Mark's name everywhere now, even professionally. It feels like the first real boundary I've drawn, that they can't edit, spin, or undermine. A week later, Lauren emailed me. Subject line was, "Opportunity to collaborate." She wrote that she was planning to expand the wedding that was not. into a full photo series and wanted to honor my perspective by including some quotes from me about love, loss, and growth. She said it could be good exposure for me and that I'd get credited as a co-voice of the project. Exposure. As if she hadn't already exposed enough. I did not reply. I archived it. The only person from my family I still talk to now is my younger cousin. She messaged me after the launch party and just said she saw through it all. Said she always admired how I never fought for the spotlight and how sad it was that the ones who do usually have the least to say. That message made me cry a little, not going to lie. It reminded me I'm not crazy and I'm not alone. So yeah, that's where we're at. My fake wedding is now a design portfolio. My sister's an artistic survivor of abandonment. My parents are PR reps for a lie, and I'm out here just living quietly, finally building something real without them in the background trying to steal the credit. But some days I still get this knot in my stomach when I think about it all. How far someone will go to be seen. How much a family will ignore to protect the child that shines loudest. How easy it was for them to erase me from my own story. Stay tuned for more stories from Our Girl Relationships.